Every outdoorsman and woman share a common passion for adventure, for exploration, for the excitement that comes from witnessing the rarities of our natural world. We also share a common list, a list of dreams. Those places, challenges, and pursuits we can forever hope to get the opportunity to experience, albeit so few ever do. For Dale Nelson, however, a longtime sales representative for Citron Optics, his lifelong dream is about to come to fruition. Since his earliest memories, Alaskan brown bears had captivated his thoughts and provided endless intrigue. On this edition of America's Outdoor Journal, we'll join Dale and Bear Bay Lodge owner Ty Johnson as they look to fulfill Dale's many decades of anticipation as he attempts to harvest a mature Alaskan brown bear. So sit back and relax while you can, because in just a few moments, we'll have you on the edge of your seat. Bear Bay Lodge is located at the foot of the Killbuck Mountains on the southwest shore of Lake Aleknagik in southwest Alaska. Bordering the Wood-Tikchik State Park, Bear Bay Lodge sits amongst literally thousands of interconnected rivers, lakes, forests, and alpine tundra ecosystems. And not mistakenly, is surrounded by one of the largest brown bear populations in the world. For this trip, however, we'll be leaving the comforts of the lodge behind, as the float plane takes us to a remote cabin located 30 miles to the north.
You must be Dale.
I'm Dale Nelson, Ty.
Ty Johnson. Welcome to
Glad to meet you. Great day to be in Alaska.
Yeah, we've had a little bit of weather, but that's okay for bear hunting.
Slow them down a little for me.
Hey, whatever it takes. Hey, Dale, we're going to get your bags out here, load them up in the airplane, and we're going to get right out to bear camp today.
Wonderful. Sounds good to me.
All right.
Wood-Tikchik State Park is the nation's largest at 1.6 million acres.
Hey, Dale, I think we're here.
Okay. We're gonna be okay.
Yep, right on that rock.
That'd be a good shot.
Perfect. Well, hey, welcome to Lake Beverly, and we're gonna do a bear hunt here.
Think this is where the big boy's hiding?
I think we'll find him.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Good plan on board. We're gonna be headed right up over that way. Well, Dale, here in Alaska, we have a rule where you can't hunt the same day you fly.
Yeah, I understand that.
So tonight we're just gonna do a little scouting around, a little glassing, and we'll get to start our hunt first thing in the morning.
Sounds darn good to me.
Okay, good.
For Dale Nelson, the opportunity to harvest a majestic brown bear is a lifelong dream, and he knows it won't come easy.
So Dale, this is your first time in Alaska, first time bear hunting?
I can't tell you how excited I am about this. It's something that I've never even attempted to dream about because I didn't think it would ever happen, and here I am.
Yeah. Yep, here you are, you're in the middle of western Alaska looking for a big brown bear.
Yes, we are, and I appreciate all your help on this. I'm tremendously excited. The bears, this time of year, what's your food source primarily?
We're here in the late fall, and these bears are out pretty much all day right now, cruising, looking for whatever food source is available to them. Here in this area, salmon obviously are what they're looking at, and we've got thousands and thousands of dead and dying salmon, on the river, floating up on the beaches, and these bears are out cruising the shorelines looking for, whatever tidbits they can get because winter's, coming up soon. Depending on the time of year you're hunting, we hunt here in the fall and in the spring. Your fall bears typically average smaller because you have all the bears out at that time. So as far as the average bear killed, it's more in the 7.5 to 8 foot range, whereas in the spring, the average bear killed is between 8.5 and 9.5 feet, mainly because the boars come out first. Whereas right now the bears are all out. The sows, the cubs, the young bears, the old bears. You have a lot more bears to sort out to where you're hunting.
Some nasty weather. How are we going to approach this hunt today?
Today with this nasty weather, last night we had a huge storm, 60-mile-an-hour winds and rained all night. And but regardless, like we were talking earlier about, the bears are going to be out cruising, so we're going to have a good vantage point, hopefully a little bit out of the wind. And we're going to sit up and watch a lot of this shoreline as much in an area as we can cover, and wait for a bear to walk out to take a look at.
So this time of year it's getting late. When will the bears really start to hibernate?
Being in the late fall like this, we're getting close to the time the bears go into hibernation, probably 30 to 40 days. And the sows probably will go down just a little bit earlier than the boars. The boars are trying to pack on a few more pounds. Sows got to get a good den and nice and deep and warm, so when they have those cubs, later on in the spring, they got a good place for them to grow up. But most of the bears will be in the ground by the 1st of November and then won't come out until the end of March. And so that's why they're out during the day and kind of break their normal cycles right now, and are out, in the daylight hours almost all day walking around looking for food. And that's why we set up in the places we do, with vantage points to see these shorelines where the bears will be cruising, and because we don't want to be in the brush chasing them down. So
we're pretty close to Russia. Where are really the biggest bears in the world?
Typically when people are looking for places where there's bigger bears, things they need to keep in mind are, everybody always hears about Kodiak bears, but brown bears in general. A brown bear here in western Alaska is the same as a Kodiak brown bear. Genetically, they're the same bear, just depends where they live. A lot of the biggest bears shot in Alaska come from the Alaska Peninsula, believe it or not, in Kodiak, and then here on the western Alaska coastline. Interior bears typically average smaller sizes because they don't have the food source the coastal bears have, and that being the salmon.
The strategy for the hunt is simple: patience and persistence. Trudging blindly through the thick brush and bug-infested bogs is a risky proposition, considering the bears often use the terrain along the riverbanks to nap in peace and quiet.
Well, Dale, we're here along the river. You notice there's a lot of salmon carcasses here.
A bunch.
Here in the rivers and lakes, these bears come from miles and miles to cruise these shorelines because of the food source that's here. Lots of salmon. So we're going to set up here where we can see in a couple different directions, cover a lot of this shoreline, and we're going to sit and wait for a bear to come out and start cruising, and hopefully be one that we want to shoot.
Sounds like a good deal to me.
All right, let's head on up here.
Okay.
Surprising a resting bear is among the greatest dangers in all of hunting. In this terrain, it's the riverbanks themselves that hold the greatest promise, as the bears continually walk the shoreline in search of food. It can mean long hours of glassing, waiting, watching, and glassing even more. Good optics like the Cytron S3 binoculars we're using on today's show are a must, and a little luck doesn't hurt either.
That's pretty awesome watching that bear walk out
Pretty
like that.
neat bear. Pretty neat bear. How big a boy was he?
You know, I think he's right around 7.5 feet or so, probably about 500 pounds.
Well, if he'd grow about 2 feet overnight, he'd be a nice bear.
Yeah, he'd be a real nice
He's
bear.
neat anyway. Big head, looks like going to 50-gallon barrel.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
yeah, he's really working that shoreline, picking up those fish, and yeah, if he keeps eating like that, I think he'll be big within a year or two.
Amazing how he looked right at us and didn't get excited.
Yeah, he didn't even care.
Didn't know we were here. Didn't know what was going on.
Well, we'll keep watching it tonight, and you know, this is only our first day, so.
Yeah, that's right. Wouldn't have nothing to do the rest of the week.
You know, last night was kind of interesting, Dale. Went out last night late in the evening to take a look around, and we saw a pretty decent bear. We decided not to shoot him. I think once this rain dies down a little bit and the wind, we'll load up in the boat and head back out and get one of those big dudes to walk out for us.
Sounds like a real plan.
Yeah, I think so.
In this unspoiled land, bears may be the primary attraction, but they are far from the largest. The Wood-Tikchik State Park is home to the largest member of the deer family as well. Moose are very common. Although even Ty was caught off guard by the grandeur of this impressive bull that crossed the river just below the cabin.
That's one of those moose I was telling you about.
Well, that looks like a good enough reason to come back next year and chase one around.
I put him in the 60+ category easy.
That is, without a doubt, the biggest moose on the hoof I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's something else. Watch him as he's walking across that river.
Just no hurry at all, just going for a nice morning walk.
Yep, he's still in the rut and he's out looking for cows.
My God, that's absolutely amazing. Just amazing.
Not a care in the world.
I guess
huh?
I never expected to see one up in this country.
These bears have obviously been out here eating a lot of these dead salmon. And back here in the brush, we're going to take a look at a bear bed and where the bears take a lot of these salmon to eat them. almost like a jungle back here, and this bear's matted down all this grass and brush. Made this his own little home back here to come back in and eat his fish without having to worry about other bears interfering with them or anything else. Obviously, bears spent a lot of time in here grabbing fish, coming in, eating, walking back out to the river, grabbing fish, coming back in. It's just part of the cycle of when they're working these rivers and eating these fish.
Male brown bears can weigh over 1,000 pounds and measure 11 feet long. Brown bears, grizzlies, and Kodiaks are essentially identical species. For one reason or another, the bear activity was less than anticipated.
Dale, we got a little break in the weather, and by the looks of the snow in those mountains up there, it got kind of cold.
Cooled off a bunch, I would say.
Yeah. Well, here in this spot in the river, there's kind of an S-turn and some real fast water here. Good place for those salmon carcasses to catch and kind of wash up in some of these little eddies, and some bear beds over here across the river. So I think we'll sit here for a couple hours and see what happens.
Sound like a decent plan?
All righty.
While we weren't planning to hold out for the bear that would make the record books, Dale was adamant about harvesting a respectable animal for his first and likely only opportunity. It wasn't long before things all fell into place and Ty located good quality bear. When we come back, the moment Dale was waiting a lifetime for.
Take a look at him.
Oh, he's really all right. He really is. He doesn't have a clue that we're here.
Hey Dale, we are sitting up in this meadow